So there's no question about it that the Sigma 60mm is a fantastic lens. Equipped with a fast aperture of f1.4 while still, not breaking your bank, it's a super hard lens to ignore. In today's video, we are gonna take a closer look at it and I'm gonna share with you my experience of using it excessively for both videos and photos for the last 6 months. Although, I love it, there are two things that bug me a little bit about it, so we are gonna touch on that too. Fun. And we are gonna try to answer the most important question, the question of the ages. Is this lens a bokeh master? Yo, hvað er að frétta? My name is Arnaldur and let's start by taking a closer look at this lens. So here it is. This is the baby that everybody is talking about. So the first thing you're probably gonna notice is that the focus ring is super big. It's take up like the half the lens, but it's very smooth. I said it countless of times. If a focus ring is not smooth, totally, like the lens is ruined. But this one, oh, so smooth. You might also notice that we have a totally different perspective right now. That was because I was filming on the Sigma 60mm and I only own one. I'm not, a super rich YouTuber, so watch my ads and maybe I can own 2 in the future. So I switched to the Sony 35mm and now the camera is way back, so I can show you the lens while I'm talking. You understand me? Now the lens is also relatively big. It's not the biggest lens in town. If you compare it to the Sony 18-105, you see that it's like a little bit smaller than that one, but it's also not the smallest lens in town. So if you compare it to the Sony 10-18, it's bigger than that one. It's also a little bit heavy, but not, too heavy. It's that has that little bit quality heavy. So when you put it on your Sony APS-C camera, it's gonna have some weight to it, which I honestly think just is nice. But again, it's not, it's maybe not the lightest lens in town. It's maybe also worth to notice that the focus ring is like a rubber, so I think it feels nice, and it's as I said, it's nice. I'll show you in a second what happened once to my lens. But let's first take a look at the glass. The glass looks nice. I think it's just a beautiful lens. Now you can see here that I dropped it once. That was not cool, but it happened here. Still totally works fine. It just has a little dent on it here. So it's like a robust lens. Then we can take a closer look at the rear. It looks like this. Beautiful. I read on the internet that it's like slightly weather sealed. I have no idea what that means. I've had it in rainy conditions and it works fine, but don't take my word on it. According to the internet, and internet never lies, it's slightly weather sealed. Now don't think that there is much more to talk about the build quality other than, it's a little bit big, not too big, and it has a big focus ring and, it feels nice. So yeah, this was the build quality. Now the first thing that you will notice when you are using this lens is how sharp it is. That was at least the first thing that I noticed. It's maybe not, the sharpest lens out there, but it is razor sharp. Whether you're doing photos or videos, this lens is gonna deliver nice amount of sharpness. And on top of all that, I just think the image quality is, top notch. Now it is a 60mm lens, which is, a wide angle lens, but it sits on an APS-C camera. So it crops into 24mm, which is a super nice focal length, and those full frame shooters out there, they're always babbling about the 24mm, so it's a nice focal length. Now I personally think this lens is pretty versatile. I cannot say that word. I especially like to use it for cityscape. I live in the city now, so I have not been a lot in the nature, but I imagine it like a killer in the landscape shots too. And whether you're taking photos or videos, it's going to deliver there. Now you can use it for portraits, but because of the focal length, it's not the most flattering focal length for, portrait photography. It's due to the fact that, 16mm is not the most flattering look for the faces. It can make them look a little bit long if you're up close. But, if I back a little bit from the model and stand a little bit away, you can get some nice, shots like that. I've even made a full vlog on it. I'll link it up here so you can take a look at it. So, it's totally usable, but I think it's better in the other departments. Hey, jag är mitt i en filmning. Puss. Where were we? Yes. I originally bought this lens to be my main, talking to camera lens, which it totally is. Almost all my talking headshots, whether it's here in the studio or at home, almost, like 6 months back, have been shot on this lens. I really, like that wide perspective while still having that bokeh and background separation. I'm filming on it right now, so you can see for yourself if you like it. There should be some bokeh right here. Ah, you see it? Woo, good bokeh here. And the image quality, it's Also, the fact that you can drop down the aperture so much, letting in that much light, I think it's super nice for, indoor shots like this, where I don't, I can film here without like cranking up my key light to the max, and you can be in pretty dark conditions. I super much appreciate that. And speaking about low light conditions, this lens is a killer in that department. I filmed quite a bit during nighttime with it, and I made even a whole vlog about it. I'll link it up here if you want to see. And it's just super nice because it's, you can drop it down to f1.4. It's just made it so easy to get those shots. Now for photography, I'll be completely honest with you, I don't really do a lot of nighttime photography, so I can't like 100% talk about that, but a lot of reviews that I've read about it, people love to use this lens for, nighttime photography. And to be honest, if it's this good for video work during night, it's bound to be a killer for the nighttime shot as well. And I know that people really like it for, astrophotography. So, low light performance, the Sigma 16, bam! Now there is another low-key thing that I super much like about it, is that it has a super close focus distance. I think it's like 25 centimeters or something, so you can get like super close to your subject and still have like that razor nice focus. It's just, I love that. So I'm finding myself using it a lot for my thumbnails, which is, product photography, because I can get like super close to my lenses or whatever thumbnails I'm doing while still having that wide angle perspective. Very much like that. And because you can get so close to your subject, the bokeh on it becomes super, super nice. Usually, with wide angle lenses, they don't have as much bokeh as, 85mm or 100mm, and I think it's due to the lack of compression. The more compression there is, the nicer the bokeh is gonna be. But with the Sigma 60mm, because you can get so close to subject, you can like get very, very nice bokeh, so it kind of becomes a bokeh master. So that's the question that everybody is always asking about. Is it a bokeh master? And yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, you know how it is. Now it does have some chromatic aberration. I cannot say that word. Chromatic aberration. Those fringes in those fine line, high contrast areas, it can have some fringe there. But I think that is like fairly simple to fix post, so it doesn't really bother me that much. The autofocus itself is also alright for photography. It's snappy and quick and does a fairly good job. And for video, I think it's alright. Consider this like a third-party lens, and it's fairly smooth. However, there is one thing about the autofocus that bugs the hell out of me, and it's that it rattles a lot. It's super, super noisy. Maybe, not super noisy, it doesn't go like, but it's there. And it totally ruins the audio because it rattles enough that your microphone, even if you have a shotgun microphone on top of your camera, it's going to pick it up. So that is a total turn off, but again, this is a third-party lens and they sometimes have, problem with the autofocus. So the autofocus, this one is noisy. Now what you can do, you can turn off the autofocus like I do now. The autofocus is turned off, then it's not a problem. If you're a photographer and do not do video, this is totally not a problem because it's like noisy autofocus, it doesn't matter in photography. Or you can do what I have a microphone here, up here, so it's not in the camera, so then it's not gonna pick it up. So that's like the solution to that problem. Now one other slight minus, and I say slight because it's not really the biggest minus in the world, but this lens is not stabilized. If you're a photographer, it doesn't really matter. Maybe in nighttime photography, if you want to go too much down the shutter speed, you're gonna get it. But if you have a camera that has IBIS, in-body stabilization, then it's gonna be okay for you. But if you're like me on a Sony a6400 that is not stabilized for video, you just have to be very, very, very careful. So that is like a slight minus. If it would have in-body stabilization, that would be, the lens of the ages. Now I've been asked if this is, a nice vlog lens, and I would say that it's all right. Now it's just wide enough that if you extend your arm, fully, you're gonna get a nice vlog frame, and then it's not stabilized, so your vlogs are going to be shaky. So that's so it's not like the best vlog lens out there. I honestly more prefer to use the Sony 10-18 because it's both, it's stabilized, and you know, you can go down to 10 millimeters, so you can get way more, you know, this is way better for the vlogs. And you don't have to extend your arm like somewhere like crazy, okay? But you know, it's still totally possible to vlog with it. And if I'm like shooting with it and I don't like to change the lens, I totally do vlogs with it. And in my low light test vlog that I did this, all the vlogs were did on it. So it's like totally possible. All right, so I think that I've gone through it all. Like, my conclusion is that I was very surprised how good this lens is. I totally recommend it. It's a super nice lens. It's not too expensive. It's wide angle. It's sharp. It's super fast. You can get like f1.4. You can get bokeh. I mean, okay, the autofocus is a little bit noisy and it's not stabilized, but the amount of things that you get for your money, it's totally worth the money in my opinion. So if you are looking for a wide angle lens, this is definitely a lens to, you know, consider. And as we've talked about, I like it both for videos and photos. So, you know, that's maybe it. I think I've said everything I want to say. Maybe I'll edit in some other bits. Anyways, that's it for me today. If you are still watching, you're a complete legend. Thank you for that. If you have any questions, as always, free to ask in comments down below. If you could smack that like button for me, it would really help me out. Consider subscribing. I create bunch of videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.